Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Cheers to 2021. Finally, we made it. Today we'll be discussing a very important topic I like to call the reset button. How can we use yoga as a resource to come into the new year with an absolutely clean slate? How can we create this new energy to drive us to complete all our new goals and motivations? And how do we get out of that funk? Well, grab anything you'll need, any blocks, any water, right, any straps. And my name is Sam. I'm a yogi stationed here in New York. I'm really excited to flow with you. As soon as you're ready, I'll meet you guys in a child's pose at the top of your mat, your palms out in front of you, and forehead to the ground.
Let's start to settle into the breath. On an inhale, you should feel your spine rise up towards the sky. With every exhale, your belly should sink deeper towards the ground. This pose is one of the most important poses in our practice. It also serves as one of those tools we talked about when we talked about starting over. This child's pose is here for you to return to at any point if you're ever feeling exhausted during the practice, or if you just need a moment of rest. On an inhale, let's walk our hands out towards the right side of our mat. Your left hand should cross over your right, and you should feel a really, really long stretch in the left side part of your body. Breathe into it to make it even deeper. And then on an exhale, take your hands back to the center of the mat. Let's get even longer in this child's pose. On your next inhale, start to walk your hands out towards the left side of your mat. Your right hand will meet your left. It'll cross over and you'll feel a really, really long stretch in the right side of your body. Breathe into it. And on an exhale, let's take it back to the center. Elongating out our child's pose. Yeah. One more breath here. And on your next inhale, let's rock up to a tabletop position. Our shoulders are exactly over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. On an inhale, let's dip that belly, lift the gaze towards the sky for a cow. On an exhale, let's reverse those actions, taking our spine to the sky and our gaze towards our navel. And then your pace, your breath, your movement, let's keep going through these cat-cows, warming up the spine. And this should feel really good in all three parts of our spine. That's the lumbar, the thoracic, and our cervical spine. Let's keep warming up our body vertically, and then maybe start to introduce some horizontal movement. Maybe your shoulders are craving some back and forth. Maybe your hips want it too. Maybe we want to make some circles with our shoulders, our hips. Remember, we're still moving through those cat-cows, but now we've added so many different planes of movement. We're going all over the place. Maybe you want to rock back and forth, right? Warming up the wrists. Maybe you want to twist your wrists out so that your wrists face the front of your mat, and then you lift them up and down as you rock back and forth. Take your wrists back to their original position with the fingers facing the front of the mat. We're going to lift our knees off the ground, literally an inch off the ground, to engage the core. So no cheating in this pose. Don't lift your knees any higher than an inch, and don't take them to the ground either. Now, we're engaging the core and we're staying in this pose for just a couple of seconds, but we might have already forgotten about the breath that we worked so hard to develop. So take your attention back to the breath and stay hovering. On an exhale, drop your knees to the ground. We made it. Rock it out. We got one more round to go. So as soon as you feel settled, let's tuck our toes and lift our knees off the ground even lower this time. So about a centimeter, right? Why are centimeters smaller than inches? Who knows? We got our lower core engaged, our upper core engaged. We're distributing the weight equally among the body, and we're breathing. It's a lot of stuff to do at once, right? So keep your attention there. I'm sure you guys can do it. On your next exhale, let's straighten out our legs, sending our hips back for our first downward dog of this practice. Start to pedal out the legs. So inhale, you bend one knee and you straighten out the other leg. Stay there for the exhale. On your next inhale, switch the direction of those legs. So you bend the other knee and straighten out the other leg. Your pace, your movement. Let's start to pedal out our legs a little quicker, getting more comfortable in this downward dog. It's okay if your heels don't reach the ground. That's absolutely fine. Mine really don't either. And then after a couple more breaths, let's start to clean up our downward facing dog, taking a micro bend in the knees all together. Now, let's work on that really straight line from our wrists all the way to our tailbone. That bone right below our butt cheeks, or in our butt cheeks. Boom. So, on an exhale, let's start to straighten out the legs without sacrificing that long line in the spine. This might feel impossible. If it is, that's okay. Come back to that bend in your knees. And then on an exhale, start to straighten your legs out again. Try it. If it doesn't get there today, that's absolutely fine. Remember, we want this upside down V shape. So we can't compromise the lower back or a round in our lower back to straighten out our legs. That defeats the purpose of this pose. So adjust to your body and what your body is capable of. If you want an extra challenge and you really got that V shape set up, maybe you lift your toes off the ground. But that's for our really seasoned yogis. Awesome work, everyone. Let's roll forward on an inhale into a plank position. Our shoulders hover directly over our wrists, our heels over our ankles. Let's build through our first chaturanga. For our first chaturanga option, we're going to bend both knees so that they graze the ribs halfway. Inhale, flip our toes and rise for our first upward facing dog. Our knees are hovering above the mat. Exhale, we're going to reverse those actions using our core to shoot our hips back and coming back into our downward facing dog. Let's do another one. Inhale, forward into your plank position. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, rise for your up dog. Linger here. Exhale, shoot it back for your downward facing dog. One more time, everyone. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, bend your elbows. Come into your up dog. And finally, your down dog. Great, we're building up our upper body muscles and our core, all of it. And now that we've had a little bit of a practice, let's take our knees back to the ground. Send our hips out back behind us. We're coming into our child's pose, but this time I'm going to introduce a variation. So just like we have many different correct ways of doing one thing, we have many different correct ways of doing a pose in yoga as long as it accomplishes its goal. So just like you guys had that child's pose variation with your arms out in front of you, we can come into a child's pose with our hands behind us, palms facing up, and our knees together. Our forehead still reaches towards the ground. And let's breathe. Let's recuperate in this child's pose. Regenerate. And prepare for the new flow, for the new year. On your next inhale, make your way back into a tabletop position. Then tuck your toes and shoot your hips back behind you for your downward facing dog. Pedal out the legs, see if you feel any more comfortable now that we've been here before. And inhale forward into a plank position. We're going to go through a second chaturanga option. So for this second option, you're welcome to take your knees to the ground and then slide your chest through so that your chin touches the mat in front of you and your pecs are in between your thumbs. And you're going to slide through for a baby cobra or a full cobra, extending your arms. And tuck your toes, send your hips back for your downward facing dog. Let's go through that one more time. Inhale forward into your plank, drop your knees, slide forward and through. Inhale for your baby cobra or your full cobra variation. Knees are on the ground, and then send your hips back for your down dog. One last time, let's hit it, let's do it. Inhale forward for your plank, drop your knees, slide through. Baby cobra or full, and down dog. We've been here before, great work. Let's take a breath here. And then come back to a child's pose, whichever variation you'd like. All right? So whether that's with your knees far apart or with your knees together, palms behind you, all we have to do is come into this pose and start to breathe. Slowly, all that energy, all that heat we built up from those last exercises starts to melt, starts to fade away. And we come back to this feeling of zero, of rest, of ability. I can do anything else that comes my way because I'm no longer tired. I'm breathing. On an inhale, rise up so that you're sitting on your heels. And then lean onto one side so you can sway your legs out in front of you. I'm going to meet everybody in an avasana or a boat pose. Your lower legs are going to be hovering parallel to the ground. And you have this little V shape from your lower spine to your thighs. Your arms are parallel to your lower legs. And let's work on our core. If you guys want to go for your full Navasana variation, you're welcome to. Inhale, you're going to stretch far apart, coming closer to the ground. Exhale, you're going to take your chest to your knees. Inhale, far apart, splay open. Exhale, fold, come to your crunch. And your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your movement. Let's do our crunches. We got 30 seconds. In these hardcore experiences, we tend to forget about the breath. So, as you're doing your crunches, don't forget to incorporate your inhales and exhales. Don't just hold your breath. You got only 10 seconds to go. It's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it. Hug your knees into your chest. Very satisfying pose as well to reset. It's almost like our child's pose, but on our back. This time we can even add in a little bit of a back massage. On your inhale, maybe you want to twist to the left, rolling around on your lower back. Right, exhale, maybe go the other direction, making circles to the right. And you're breathing.
That core was so hard, but all of a sudden it seems effortless because we're in such a relaxing pose. We've started over. All right. If you're ready for a fresh start, I sure am. Let's do it. Let's rock up to our Navasana, back to our boat pose. Let's do a different type of core. So as soon as you're ready, you're going to send your arms up behind you. Exhale, open up, and then interlace your hands behind your head. Let's go for bicycle crunches. That means right leg, right elbow to left knee, left elbow to right knee. Your pace, your breath, your rhythm, your movement. Let's do it. We got 30 seconds. You already know my style. You've been here before. Remember, we took that rest so that we can better confront this next goal. It's what we need. That's it. You only got 10 seconds left. That's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it. And hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a tighter squeeze this time. Oh yeah. Let's give our hips a little bit more love. This time I invite you guys to come into a happy baby. So for your happy baby, you're going to grab for outer sides of your feet. Your feet are going to push your hands towards the sky, and your hands are going to pull your feet closer to the ground. You should feel a crazy, crazy release of tension down near the groin. Reconnect to the breath. And then rock up to come to a seated position so that you can plant your hands. Step, float, hop back into that tabletop position. Sit down onto your heels and take your forehead to the ground for your child's pose. We got an interesting flow coming up in front of us. So let's take all those warm-up exercises and see how we can use them for our gain, for our benefit. Let's introduce something we call the Ujjayi breath. So for the Ujjayi breath, I'm going to take a big, big, big inhale. And then open your mouth as if though you're about to fog up a mirror and let it out. Okay. Well, that wasn't exactly the Ujjayi breath, but it was a method we can use to develop it. So this time you're going to take a deep breath in. It doesn't have to be fast. It could be slow. That's fine. And you're going to, this time, keep your mouth shut, but create that same sensation of fogging up the mirror in front of you. Once you've let it all out, keep your mouth shut and keep exhaling and inhaling this way. Watching the breath creep up your spine, and then watching it come all the way back down, coming back to the tailbone where it all began. This Ujjayi breath is here to give us a sense of balance, of victory. So use it as a tool whenever you're feeling stressed, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, to help balance out your life and come back to that place of comfort where you feel like you can do anything again. On your next inhale, I'd like to meet you guys all back in your downward facing dog, however you want to get there. On your next inhale, let's lift our right leg to the sky and send it to our right shoulder. Stay hovering there. Inhale, kick it back up for your three-legged dog. Exhale, send it to your left shoulder, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, shoot it back.
This time, take your knee to your nose, hovering your heel really close to your groin. As quietly as you can, try to step your foot in between your hands without lifting your wrists off the ground. We're in the slow lunge position. On an inhale, let's rise to our high lunge. Awesome work. For our high lunge, our knees stacked above our heel, and our back leg is straight. On an exhale, open up into your warrior 2. That means now our heel's down, and our back foot is parallel to the back side of our mat. Our gaze is over our right shoulder. Inhale, flip your palm, reach forward and back. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, straighten your leg and tip down into a triangle. Inhale, come back to that warrior 2. Tip forward and back, reverse it. Exhale, come back to your triangle. Inhale, come back to your warrior 2. Flip that front palm, forward, back, reverse it. Exhale, come back into your triangle. This is your last one. Awesome work. Now we're going to come back into our warrior 2 on an inhale, and we're going to come down to our low lunge, flip our back heel up, rise into our high lunge, and this time we're going to pick a point in front of us that's not moving. We call it a drishti point. We're going to bend our left leg. We're going to look at that non-moving point, and we're going to pounce forward into a warrior 3, balancing on that right leg. Your left leg shoots out behind you, perpendicular to your standing leg. Remember, your left hip is twisting inwards and not outwards. And we're breathing in this balancing posture. Great work. You can take airplane arms, whichever variation. On an inhale, swing back into your high lunge. Take your hands to the ground. Swing your right foot up, and let's do a rock star on our left leg. So tip over onto the pinky side edge of your left foot. Swing your right foot back around you, and your head falls back too. Reverse those actions, coming back into your three-legged dog and taking your right foot to the ground. Let's go through a chaturanga flow, whichever one you like. Remember, we have the up dog variation and the cobra variation, whichever one really speaks to you. All right, we're ready for the flow on our left side. And inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through in between your hands. I'm kidding. Take it to the sky. Let's fit in that core work. So take it to your left shoulder first. Inhale, swing your left foot back. Exhale, take it to your right shoulder, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, shoot it to your nose, hovering for a second here. And then as quietly as you can, step it through in between your hands. We're in the slow lunge position. Let's sink into it, wiggle out the hips. On an inhale, rise for your high lunge. On an exhale, open up into a warrior 2. Maybe you want to take a wider stance. And we're breathing. See if you can connect that ujjayi breath we talked about to your movement. So as you feel that breath move up the spine, maybe you inhale, flip your front palm, reach forward. On the exhale, tip back, reverse that warrior. On your next exhale, you're going to straighten that front leg and tip down into your triangle. Your gaze reaches towards the right hand facing the sky. Inhale, bend your leg, come back into that warrior 2 position. Flip your front palm, reach forward and back, reverse it. Exhale, straighten that front leg and tip down, triangle, round 2. Inhale, bend that front knee, come back into your warrior 2. Flip, forward, reverse, and tip down, triangle. So last one on our left side. So, inhale, come back into your warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Flip that back heel up and rise into your high lunge. You know what we're going for here. We're coming into our warrior 3. So pick that non-moving point on the ground, stare at it, become it, right? Embody the still qualities. And then bend your right foot. You're going to launch off your right foot, coming directly into your warrior 3. If you fall out of it, just come right back into it. Extend as far away as you can, your head reaching forward, your right leg reaching back. On an inhale, you're going to reverse those actions, coming back into your high lunge. Exhale, take your hands to the ground and take your left leg to the sky. 3-legged dog. Let's come into a rock star on our right side. So you're going to come onto the pinky side edge of your right foot and shoot your left foot behind you, opening your chest up towards the sky. When you're done here, take your left hand back to the ground, shoot your left leg up, and take it down to meet your right. Let's come into our next pose of rest. Now you guys are welcome to come into those poses we've talked about, like the 2 child's pose variations, or let's introduce a new pose of rest, a new way to reset and prepare for our next flow. This one's called Vajrasana. So for your Vajrasana, your knees are together and your heels are together behind you. You're sitting down on your heels. Now you're going to splay your palms up, open towards the sky, elongate the spine, and close your eyes. This time, when you engage that Ujjayi breath, that pranayama technique, you're going to feel it literally rise up and down, which can be a little bit more rewarding than watching your breath float horizontally in your different child's poses. Not that it's any less effective, but this might be your pose of rest. So try it out. Embrace it. For those of us yogis that are really tired right here, stay in your pose of rest. If you're not tired and you want to challenge yourself, I'll meet you guys in a malasana at the top of your mat. So a yogi squat. Maybe I should face towards you guys so you see it. Your hips come, or your heels come as wide as the mat. Your toes are facing out. And you're going to dip down into your yogi squat, taking your hands to heart center. Your elbows push against opposite knees to keep them splaying out in the direction of the toes. And let's breathe here. Let's challenge those hips. On an inhale, take your hands up above your head. Exhale, straighten out. Rise to standing. Breathe here. Then try to reverse those actions exactly, coming down to splayed hips first, and then taking your hands in the middle of your chest for your Anjali Mudra. Breathe here in your Malasana. Inhale, rise, taking your hands up above your head and rising simultaneously with your Jaya Mudra. Last time, exhale, squat back into your Malasana, taking your hands to heart center. Here, if you have a crow in your practice, let's do it. If you're setting up for your crow, You're going to come onto your palms and you're going to shoot your hips up as far as they go, right? Walk them in about a foot behind your hands. Hook them behind the armpits. You're going to pick a point in front of you just like we did with that warrior 3. And you're going to rock forward, coming up onto your wrists for your crow. If you want to challenge this, maybe straighten your arms. And exhale, come back down. Great work, everyone. Whatever you are doing with this playtime, that's great. I'll meet you guys back in a down dog. Let's breathe in this pose. Got an entire flow coming up in front of us. I'm so excited. Are you? Let's do it. Let's come into this new flow, just like we're going to come into the new year, fresh and strong. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, send it to your right shoulder. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, send it to your left shoulder. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, send it to your nose, hover, and then step it through in between your hands. Great work. We're going to rise into a high lunge. Take your hands to heart center. This time we're going to twist to our right, hooking our left elbow on our right thigh, really wringing out the spine. You're welcome to take this into a flyaway or bind. One way or another, I'll meet you guys back in a high lunge. Take your hands to the ground. And we're going to twist our back foot down at a 45-degree angle, rising into our warrior 1. On an exhale, we're going to open up into our warrior 2. We've been here before. Reconnect to that breath. And on an exhale, tip down for your side angle, looking up towards your lifted left hand. This time, if you can make it there, come into your bind or your half bind. So setting your left hand behind you, palm facing towards the back wall, and your right hand under you, under your right thigh, to interlace your left hand behind your right thigh. We're in our bound side angle. We're looking up towards the sky. Our chest is open towards the sky. Let's start to straighten out our front leg for our bound triangle. Our right leg is straight. We're looking up towards the ceiling. And here, if you guys have a bird of paradise in your practice, please go for it. So walking in your left leg towards the center of the mat can be as messy or as clean as you want it to be. Then you walk your right leg closer and closer to your left, and you start to lift, hovering on that left foot. Remember, to balance, we need that beautiful drishti point, that non-moving point of stillness. When you rise, extend your right leg, looking over to your left for your full birds of paradise. Exhale, reverse those actions, taking your right foot to the ground, unraveling that bind, and coming into a Tadasana at the top of your mat. Lift your arms to the sky, baby back bend. Exhale, fold into your forward fold and shake out your legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back, and let's go through our Chaturanga flow, whichever variation you prefer. We made it, you guys. We did it on our right side. Are we ready to do it on our left? I think you are. On your inhale, let's take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, take it to your left shoulder. Inhale, shoot it up. Exhale, swing it to your right shoulder. Inhale, shoot it up. Exhale, swing it to your nose. Hover, 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 and then step it through to the best of your ability. Inhale, let's rise to a high lunge. Take your hands to the heart, and then twist to your left, hooking your right elbow over your left knee this time. Push into your palms to wring out that spine. Really helps with our digestion. Also a really beautiful way to start over, right? Start eating right. Start taking care of yourself. This being an absolutely amazing way to take care of yourself. If you want to go for that bind, go for it. Unravel at your own pace. Take your hands to the ground for a low lunge. Then twist that back heel down and rise for a warrior one. Your hips are straight out in front of you, facing the front of the room. Exhale, you're going to open up into your warrior two, taking a wider stance. On an exhale, swing down into your side angle, placing your left hand inside of your left foot. Here, you guys have the option to go for the bind. So swing your right arm, your right hand, so that it's facing the front of the room, and it's behind your left thigh. Now you're going to swing your left hand under to grab your right hand, opening up your chest towards the ceiling. Your gaze is up, and we're going to start to straighten that left leg to come into a bound triangle. Our chest is still facing the ceiling. If you guys want to go for your bird of paradise, start to take your right foot towards the center of the mat. Also, inching your left foot closer and closer to your right, and then picking that still point, that drishti, going to begin to rise, to balance on that right foot. First, we're balanced, we're bound, and then we're going to straighten out that left leg. As slowly as you can, start to reverse those actions, taking your left foot to the ground and then unraveling that bind, coming up to a Tadasana at the top of your mat. Inhale, rise for your Urdhva Hastasana, baby back bend. Exhale, you're going to fold forward, shaking it out. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, and let's go through our Chaturanga flow. Our next sequence is for our balance lovers. So let's get prepped. Let's take a minute of rest. Remember, let's reset for that next challenge. So come to your pose of rest, whether that be child's pose 1, 2, or Vajrasana, and reconnect to that Ujjayi breath. So straighten out the spine, take a deep breath in, and then as if though you're fogging up a mirror, but with your mouth closed, letting it all out. They say what's really beautiful about the Ujjayi breath is it sounds exactly the same on an inhale as it does on an exhale. Many of us can make some kind of noises when we breathe out of our nostrils. But what kind of noise can we make when we really, really lock the back of our throat and breathe in a balanced manner in that Ujjayi breath of victory? Walk your hands up towards the top of your mat. You're going to come back into your downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, and you're going to make your way to the top of the mat, hanging heavy in a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit that booty down and rise for your chair pose. Our core is engaged. We're looking up at that point where the wall and the ceiling meet in front of us. Your hands can be together or apart. Just remember to breathe in this high pressure pose. Exhale, straighten your legs and fold. coming into your forward fold. Inhale, reset the spine, half lift. Exhale, come back down. This next chair is going to be similar but different. On an inhale, swing your arms up and that booty down, chair pose. This time in an exhale, taking your hands to your heart center. We're going to twist to the left, hooking your right elbow on your left knee. Ring out that spine. Exhale, come back to center. This time you're going to lift your right leg up and put your right heel on your left knee, coming into a figure 4 chair. We're still balancing, it's even harder. This time you're going to do that same twist, but now you're going to introduce your right elbow to your left foot, not your left knee. If you guys have a grasshopper in your practice, please go for it. Otherwise, we're going to return to heart center with this figure 4 chair. Unravel and fold forward. Shake it out. I bet that left foot is saying, whoa, why'd you do this to me, man? Because I love you. I love you, left foot. Well, let's show some love to our right foot. On an inhale, reset the spine, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Twist to your right, hooking your left elbow over your right knee. Exhale, come back to your heart center. This time, lift your left leg, putting your left ankle over your right knee, sitting back into that figure 4 chair, and then twisting to the right again, this time introducing your left elbow to your right foot. If you want to go for your grasshopper, go for it. Your breath, your time. Recenter, refocus. Take that left foot down and fold forward. Shake it out. In your next inhale, reset the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, you're going to put your hands under your shoulders and send your right foot back out for your supported warrior 3. If you want to go for your full warrior 3, take your hands to your heart center, or whichever variation you'd like with your arms. Now we're going to open up into a half moon, taking our left hand to the ground and our right hand towards the ceiling. You can stare at the ground for a more sturdy balance. Your hips are open, or you can challenge your balance by taking your gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, take your right hand down to meet your left. Swing your right foot back in to meet your left. Shake it out. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's go for warrior 3 on our left side. So first, walk your hands out under your shoulders to come into that supported warrior 3, swinging your left leg behind you. Exhale, coming up into that full warrior 3 expression if you want to. Staying here for 1 breath, and then opening up into a half moon. Your right hand goes towards the sky. You're staring at it for extra balance. Your hips are open, or challenge your gaze, challenge your balance, and take your eyes up towards the ceiling. Whoa. It's a totally different world up here. Take your left hand down to meet your right, your left foot down to meet your right, and shake it out. Great work. All right. On an inhale, you're going to reset the spine, half lift. Another way to reset, right? A lot of our nerves come through the spine. Exhale, fold. Now we're going to place our hands on the mat, step back, and go through a chaturanga flow. Exhale, I'll meet you guys in a downward facing dog. Let's start to slow things down. You guys made it through all the hard parts. Congratulate yourself. 2021 is just going to be the same. We'll have some crazy rough times, I'm sure. But then the release comes, right? The release comes, all of it. On an inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, you're going to sweep it through for your half pigeon. Drawing your lower leg, your shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. Now, let's center here. So you're going to walk your hands out towards sides of your hips, setting up a stable base, and then you're going to start to hinge at the hips. Coming down onto your hands first. If this is enough, stay here. Maybe you want to come down onto your forearms. Maybe you want to come all the way down onto your forehead. We talked about our different poses of rest. We talked about different methods of breathing, such as the Ujjayi breath, and just lengthening out exhales. We talked about straightening the spine. And now let's talk about the hips. The hips hold a lot of old baggage with us because they're so closed off so much of the time. When was the last time you did a split? For all my irregular yogis out there like me, I can't do one. Because our hips are so tight, they tend to store a lot of the old baggage we came with. And when we start to open them, like we're doing right now in this half pigeon, we release a lot of that excess weight and we make room for new space. You guessed it. So for 2021, open up those hips. Let that old 2020 out and let that new 2021 in. If you're down for a quad stretch, come onto your hands. Take your right hand to the center of your mat. Swing your left heel up. Reach your left hand up and around to grab your left foot from the inside, drawing your heel in closer to your bum. Your gaze looks forward. On an exhale, take your left heel down. Come onto your hands if you're not there already. Swing your right leg towards the sky. Let's do a rock start here. So come onto your left pinky side edge of your foot. We're flipping over entirely, letting your head drip back and releasing your heart towards the sky. Exhale, take your right hand to the ground, sending your right foot behind you and then back down. Wiggle it out. On your inhale, send your left leg to the sky. Exhale, sweep it through for your half pigeon on your left side. Again, let's set up a stable base, walking our hands out alongside our hips, and then starting to fold on our hips. Coming down onto our hands, our forearms, or to our forehead. Feel all those past demons leaving your body. It's okay, they might not feel good. The point is, when you relive those past demons, when you keep them stored, yeah, you might be doing yourself a favor by learning from past experiences, but at the same time, you're reliving something that already happened. Let's let it go and let's give a chance for a new experience to come your way, a new opportunity, a new life. New year, new me, right? That's what we all say. Let's give our bodies a chance to actually live that, right? Let's reset. If you're coming into that quad stretch, come onto your hands, take your left hand to the center of your mat, flip your right heel up towards your bum, reach up and around with your right hand,
grabbing your right foot from the inside and pulling it closer and closer to your butt. Turn the gaze out in front of you. Let it go. Taking your hands out in front of you. If you're not on your hands already, come onto them. Tuck your back toe down. Let's come into our three-legged dog, and then our rock star on our right side. Opening up that right hip, that left hip, all of them. Exhale, take your left hand back down. Come back down into your three-legged dog, and then back into your downward dog. This is our last one. Let's pedal it out. Should feel really different from your experience in our first down dog at the beginning of this class. Come onto your knees. Swing your weight over to one side so you can swing out your legs in front of you. Let's come into our seated forward fold, or Paschimottanasana. For your Paschimottanasana, let's take our hands up to the sky. Your knees can be straight or bent, that's okay. And then reach for your toes as you hinge forward. Now, if you can't reach your toes, just bend your knees a little bit more. If you can reach your toes, maybe you want to reach for the pinky side edges of your feet. Maybe you want to interlace your hands behind your feet. Most importantly, you're keeping that spine straight. Introduce the breath to this passive posture. So on an inhale, you straighten out the spine, you feel your chest rise towards the sky. Exhale, you sink deeper, closer towards your thighs, your lower legs, all of it. Inhale, straighten out. Exhale, fold deeper. Straighten and fold. And on your next exhale, let it all go. Roll up as slowly as you can. Your shoulders and your head are the last thing to come up. Roll them out when they do. And then inch your hips towards the middle of your mat. You're going to lay back down so that your lower back's on the ground. And your heels are just close enough to your butt so that your middle fingers can graze them. We're coming into our bridge. For your bridge, your heels are hips width distance apart. Your head and your shoulders are pressing into the ground. Your neck is long behind you. On an inhale, you're going to press into your shoulders, use your core and your hips to shoot your hips up towards the sky. If you're comfortable here, stay here. Maybe you want to come into your bridge with your hands intersected below you, walking your shoulders under you, and then pushing your hands in together, pushing your wrists in together, creating a more stable base. Breathe here, and come down. For round 2, you can absolutely come into your bridge again, or you can take it a step further and come into your wheel, your Urdhva Dhanurasana, your full expression. For your wheel, you're going to walk your hands so that your fingers are facing towards your feet and your wrists are facing towards the top of your back, towards the top of your mat. You're going to come onto your head first. And then on inhale, you're going to straighten out your arms and create that full wheel sensation. One more breath here. And come down. For your last round, you're welcome to do whatever you'd like. Maybe you want to come into your extended wheel. For your extended wheel, walk your feet out a little further from your booty. Return your hands to that position.
alongside your ears. Your fingers are facing towards your feet, and then onto the head, and then onto the hands. And we're breathing. As slowly as you can, reverse those actions. Come to lying on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Let's go for a spinal twist on each side. So interlace your right knee over your left for Garuda legs. And now you're going to splay out your arms perpendicular to your mat and lean all the weight over to your right side, taking your gaze over to your left. Breathe here. Feel all that tension let go in your spine. Reverse those actions. Hugging your knees into your chest, unraveling them, all that good stuff. Let's recenter on our mat. And then let's cross our left knee over our right for our Garuda legs on our left side. And then tip down onto the left, taking our gaze over to the right. Hug your knees into your chest, unravel them. Give yourself a tight squeeze back and forth. And let's come into our shoulder stand. By the way, this is the point in the video that if you guys have any poses that you're still thinking of, that you know you want to do, just pause it, pause the video, do anything you'd like, and then come back with us. I'll lead you guys through a Shavasana. So as soon as you guys are ready, we're going to start rocking back and forth until we can swing our hips up to the sky and catch our lower back with our hands. And your feet are facing straight towards the ceiling. Maybe you want to walk your hands even lower on your spine. Maybe here you want to start to make your way into a halasana or a plow pose, hinging at the hips and sending your feet back behind you, that your toes graze the ground. Maybe you want to come into your deaf man's pose, hugging your knees in around your ears. And as slowly as you can, reverse those actions. Taking your lower back down and then your legs down to the ground. Great work. Here, you guys can come into a happy baby, our favorite pose of rest, right? We're splayed out. Our hips are open. We're letting all that old energy go. And we're resting, and we're breathing. A total reset. And on your exhale, let it all go into your Shavasana. Unless you guys have a Shirshasana in your practice, for your headstand, if you have it in your practice, you know what to do. Otherwise, we're in a Shavasana. Our legs out in front of us, feet splaying out to opposite sides. Our palms are at our sides, facing the sky. And we're breathing. If you're in Shirsasana, this is your moment to come down as slowly as you can, maybe hovering in that L shape. For our headstanders, make your way into your Shavasana to join the rest of our squad. And let's breathe. Inhale, hug your knees into your chest. And rock into a seated position without opening your eyes. Whatever seated position you guys are in, whether that's your crisscross applesauce or your Vajrasana, sitting back on your heels, place your hands splayed open onto your knees. And let's take in all that fresh energy we've created. Following the breath up and down the spine. We started in a child's pose. We grew, we developed our strength, we developed our abilities, taking little bits of rest after every single effort. And then towards the end, we took our Shavasana, or our corpse pose, our final pose of rest, or ultimate rest, where our body reaps all the benefits of our practice. Just like we had mini cycles within our practice, allowing for moments of rest, we had an entire cycle, right, where we applied so much energy and then rested at the end of it. That's the way our day is constructed. We have an entire day. We wake up like a baby, fresh and new. We go through our day's tasks. And towards the end, we take a moment of rest. We sleep. Without that sleep, we'd be nothing the next day. Well, think about how you can create those mini cycles within those days, where you give yourself moments of rest within the bigger picture. And then maybe expand that out to an even grander view of the cosmos, right? No, I'm kidding. Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. How can you create a schedule where you can totally reset in the small intervals, in the bigger ones, in the even bigger ones, and in the biggest ones? That being life, right? Our birth and our passing. Let's close this practice with an Om for 2021. Take your hands to your heart center. Everybody take a deep breath in. And all together. Om. Take your hands to your third eye center, or that space in between your eyebrows. And together we bow in gratitude at a new chance and a new year. Namaste. Flutter open your eyes. Come back to seated. I want to say thank you guys so much for coming to my class. Leave any feedback, any comments, like, subscribe. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you. And let's do 2021 right. Cheers. Namaste.